Hello. What are we making today?
Alfredo sauce.
And to do that, we have milk, water, some minced garlic, diced onion. We have flour, butter, dried parsley, some vegetable broth, and some Parmesan cheese. And I want to start by pointing out that the reason that we're using a combination of milk and water is so that the sauce doesn't get too sweet. If we used all milk, it would be pretty sweet. And this kind of just creates a nice balance. If we want it to be richer, we can also use some cream or finish it with cream. So to start, we have our pot heated on medium heat, and we're going to add the butter and let that melt first. And Royce has just kindly pointed out that I said that we're using soup. What did I say? Soup broth. It's the powder. What is it? What's it called?
Soup base powder, I guess?
Soup base powder. Okay, yeah, vegetable. You could use chicken or whatever if you want to, I guess. So we're gonna melt the butter.
You can kind of see the butter is starting to bubble a little bit, and that's where the good indication that we can start adding other things in there.
Okay, and those other things we're gonna add are our garlic and our onions.
Yeah.
Onions in. And garlic in.
No, a lot of times recipes will call for, I guess, medium heat or whatever, or slow to medium. Tend to go by sound is a little bit better, or just watching. You see that it's not hot enough for the onions to cook, so we're just going to turn it up a little bit.
Okay. So we don't want crazy heat, but we're not like taking a bath either. And we're gonna let these go for what, like 3 to 5 minutes, I think it says in the directions. And basically we're looking for them to get soft and translucent. That's a nice sound there. I'm hearing, yeah, this is the right temperature. So soft and translucent, but you're not trying to brown them. If they're getting brown, then it's too long or too hot.
And if it's too brown, what's going to happen, your sauce is not going to be as white as an Alfredo sauce when we do that.
Nobody wants a brown Alfredo sauce. Doesn't look great. Smells good.
It smells like onions and garlic.
Smells like butter. Ooh, should we have garlic right up?
Sure.
So much.
So now that's gone a little bit higher, I'm just turning it down a little bit so that it doesn't brown on me. And at any point, if it's too hot, I can simply just move the pot away. Action!
Action. It's been a few minutes now. We're nice and soft and translucent, and so we're going to add the flour now. And so what we're doing here is creating a mixture of flour and fat. Flour and fat, starch and fat?
Yes, starch and fat.
Starch and fat, which is going to be used as, this is basically going to serve the role of the thickener in the sauce, and that is called a roux. So now we're going to continue cooking that raw flour for, like, let's say 30 seconds, a minute. You should be able to kind of smell that the raw flour smell goes away. But 30 seconds is a good guide. So just keep stirring and let that flour cook with the butter. And the next step is to slowly add our milk and our water. Does it matter which one we put in first?
Nope. And the reason why we use flour over just reducing cream is because it is freezer friendly, meaning that if we just use 35% cream and made our Alfredo sauce, when we freeze the Alfredo sauce, say we're sending it to the food bank from the past, what ends up happening, the water and the fat freeze and they separate as they defrost.
And then it ends up really grainy and gross.
So I'm going to pour a little bit at a time. I'm going to stir it in.
And you add it a little bit of time so you don't cool it down too much, or to help you incorporate, or?
It's easier to incorporate it. So just slowly add it in, and then at this point we're basically making sure we're thickening the sauce. You can kind of see it's starting to thicken a little bit more, and then once it thickens, I'm gonna add a little bit more.
And then we'll do the same thing with the water after.
Yep. Once you get a certain point of consistency, you can kind of just add everything
when
in.
it's not so thick.
Yeah.
And it's easy to blend.
Turn it up a little bit. I'm gonna add more stuff.
How about your water?
Water. And now I'm gonna bring it to a boil.
Yeah.
And then lower the temperature and simmer for 45 minutes. And that's what's going to happen is you're going to cook out some of the starchiness in the flour, and it's going to make the sauce a little bit more velvety, and it has a better mouthfeel.
And this is all going to thicken up too in that time, right? Because now it's looking kind of like watery.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Now that's come to a boil, I'm going to turn it down and let it simmer for about 45 minutes.
But if you have to make this in class and you have a limited time, 20 to 30 minutes may also be acceptable.
Yeah.
45 minutes is ideal. And so it's going to be at low simmering, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ta-da.
Okay, it's been 45 minutes and the sauce is nice and thick and reduced. So we're now going to add our dry parsley, our soup base powder, and our Parmesan. And we'll get that all incorporated, let the cheese melt, and then we can season with salt and pepper to taste. So at this point, you can also make adjustments to the consistency of the sauce. So if it's not thick enough, you can continue reducing it. On the other hand, if it's gotten too thick, you could add a little water or milk just to thin it out a little.